hooda booty, hooda booty booty knockoff. Chit Chat, get ready with me. Chit Chat, put some makeup on with me. Chit Chat, get ready with putting some makeup on while I chit chat and get ready with me. Chit Chat, talk a little, put some makeup on, get it cracking with me. 1 time for the $10 palette, 2 times for the $10 palette, 3 times for the $10 palettes. This lipstick is way too shiny. Does this look too much to go wash dishes? Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to attempt to do a video putting on makeup and actually talking through the video, not the whole video, but talking through most of the video without the video being extremely ridiculously long. Okay, so with that being said, I need to cut this intro short. Anyway, I am going to try out, in the spirit of fall and in the spirit of burgundy sequins and cheap palettes, I'm going to try out some of the palettes that I have that I really don't use, ones that I purchased because they're so cheap and I just buy them and put them somewhere because I'm addicted to buying makeup now. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and try out some of these inexpensive palettes. And so let's go ahead and get started with this look. Not really sure what I'm going to do, but we're going to go ahead and get popping. First off, I'm going to start with my eyebrows, and I'm going to actually be using this MAC eyebrow pencil that I fell in love with. I got this in one of my monthly subscription boxes. It is in the color Spiked, and I love this pencil. I'm pretty sure it's not inexpensive. This is not a cheap item, I'm sure, so I'm probably going to have to find a dupe for it, because if not, I'll just be spending my money on it because I love it. It's perfect. It works great. So anyways, let's get started with our eyebrows and then we'll move on. Okay, so as you can see, I really don't spend too much time and energy and effort trying to perfect my eyebrows, and that's just because it seems like the more time and energy I put into my eyebrows, that's the worse they look, because they end up getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So I try not to focus on them too much, just try to deepen in what I already have and add the tail that I don't have. And I always end up with one that I absolutely love and one that I absolutely hate, because they never match. So anyway, let's go ahead and move on to some concealer. Now I'm going to use this palette that I purchased a while back from Kolorful, and it's called the Camouflage palette. I don't remember how much I paid for it, but it was during their 50% off sale, and these are the colors that are in here. And as you can see, the deeper colors really won't do anything for me because I can't use it for a contour or anything. They're too light. So I'm just actually going to go in with one of these lighter colors. I think I'm going to take this color here, and I'm going to use that to clean up under my eyebrows. So now I'm just taking a little bit of a larger brush to pull that concealer all over my eyelid, because I want to use that as my base for my eyeshadow also. Now the concealer in this palette is actually quite thick. It's quite thick and quite dense, so I don't know if I would actually use this for like under my eyes, because I don't know how hard it would be to blend it out, but I think it's probably going to be a good base for my eyeshadow. Okay, so now that I have the basic shape of my eyebrows carved out, I'm going to go ahead and set it with some of this e.l.f. What is it? Perfect Finish HD powder, and this is just what they call clear. And this is what it looks like inside. Just a nice little mirror in there. Today I think I'm going to do my face first. I usually like to do my eyes first, but I'm kind of in the mood to do my face first today. So that is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to start out with a moisturizer. I should have did this before I did my eyes, but I didn't, so we're gonna do our moisturizer right now. And this moisturizer is a Sephora moisturizer. It is Instant Moisture and Cream. It's a little sample that I got from one of my monthly subscription boxes. So, and I actually really like it, so I will be getting more of this when I run out. Okay, so now that my face is nicely hydrated, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to a primer. And I've been using the Fenty Beauty primer ever since I bought it because I love it, I love it, I love it. But I also love my e.l.f. primer, so I think I'm going to go ahead and do my e.l.f. primer today. So I'm going to use my e.l.f. and this is the Poreless Face Primer. I really like this e.l.f. primer. It just has a nice feel to it. It kind of has a medicine-y smell to it that I don't like, but it just feels really nice, and it really feels like it actually kind of blurs out the pores and just kind of helps to create that just nice smooth finish under your foundation for it to be a fairly inexpensive, a very inexpensive primer. I really like it a lot. Okay, so now for my foundation, I'm going to use one of my less expensive foundations today, just because I haven't used it in a while, I don't think, and I always forget. I have about 5 or 6 different foundations that I kind of rotate through, and I always forget which ones are a little too light, which ones are a little too dark, which ones are a little bit more matte or oily. And so this one, I can't quite remember exactly what the specifics on it are. So I'm going to go ahead and use it today. And I'm not going to do any color correcting today, so I'm hoping that it's at least medium coverage, because as you can see, I really need to do color correcting, but I don't feel like it. So this color is actually very nice. It's kind of reminiscent to me of my Fenty Beauty foundation. I definitely could stand to do some color correcting with this foundation because it's not at all full coverage for me, but it seems like it is buildable because it's not exactly a dewy finish, but it's not exactly completely matte either. So I love me a matte foundation. The matter the better. Okay, so there we go. This is the LA Girl Pro Coverage HD Long Wearing Illuminating Foundation. So I guess it's supposed to be illuminating. So I need to remember when I use this foundation that I should do some color correcting because it's not a full coverage. Now I'm going to go ahead and move on to my concealer. You know what? No, I'm going to do my concealer after I do my eyes. But I am going to set this foundation with a little bit of my e.l.f. clear powder. So I don't know if you can see the difference in how the transparent powder mattified it. This side is a little dewy. This side is getting matte. Okay, so now that I have my foundation set with that transparent powder, we'll see if I look like a grease ball by the time I finish with doing my eyes. So, okay, the next palette that I'm going to try out that I just purchased is this Beauty Glazed palette. So the name of this palette is the Beauty Glazed, and it is the Rose Gold Edition Textured Eyeshadow Palette. So this is the sleeve that it comes in. This is the actual palette. This is what it looks like. And on the palette, it has the names of the different eyeshadows as well. And it does have the cruelty-free symbol on here also, if you care about that. But I purchased this palette from Amazon for $10. It was maybe about $10.38 or something like that. I don't know. But it was about $10 for this palette. And I just had to try it. I tried out the Aphrodite palette, the inexpensive dupe from shophush.com, and I actually love that palette. And I don't have it with me. I left it out of town with my husband, so I decided to go ahead and try out another dupe and see how it works. So we'll see how this one performs today. I'm going to try and do a fall burgundy type look. So I think I'm going to start out with, you know what? I'm going to start out with this color here. It's called 35 Degrees. So it's this color here. I'm going to try that color out and see if I need another transition color on top of that or not. So it doesn't seem like I actually need another transition color. This is actually working quite well. It's like a very light mauve-y, rosy type color. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to the main color, which is this color here. It's called Burgundy. So I'm going to go ahead and see how intense that color is. Like I said, if it's not intense enough for me, I'm going to move on to another palette. So what do you guys think? Pretty pigmented, huh? Yeah, pretty pigmented. Not too bad. Now I'm going to go ahead and take that brush that I used the first color with, and I'm just going to kind of blend out the top just a little bit before I move on. Seems like every time I turn around there's a new Hulu Beauty dupe, and if it looks pretty, I'll try it. I surely will. I have no problem paying for dupes, because when that one or two expensive, really expensive palettes come out that I want to get, then I don't have to feel so guilty, because I've been buying cheap palettes the whole time. But when you think about it, all the money that I spend on these cheap palettes, I could just put into one expensive palette. But you know what? Some of these companies, they charge so much for these freaking palettes because they know that you want it, it's beautiful, you're going to pay the money, so they charge so much for it. And it's like, I lost my train of thought, whatever. Oh, and some of these companies, they charge so much for these freaking palettes because they're beautiful, they know you want them, they know you can't resist, you're gonna pay for it. But it's like, sometimes you just have to put your foot down and say, you know what, no, I'm not paying that much for a palette. It's just makeup. Okay, so let's move on. Now I'm going to go ahead and use my LA Girl Pro Concealer. And I'm going to try and create an area so that I can add some highlight in the center of my eyelid. So I'm just focusing that in the center. And I'm trying to decide if I'm going to use another palette or not, because I do have one more palette that I want to try out. Although the Beauty Glaze does have some you know, some glitters up across the top, I actually want to try another palette that I got. It's this palette that I got from shophush.com, and it's from City Color Cosmetics, and it's called the Hypnotic palette, and it's really, really cool. It has all like glitter or shimmer shades, but they're all in colors. So these are the colors in here. Very, very pretty. So I think what I want to do is I want to try this pink color up here, which is called Trip, and see how that looks in the center portion of my eye. It's actually quite light. It's almost the same color as the concealer. So I'm going to try a darker pink. I'm going to try this Unicorn and see if I like that better. Yeah, I think I like that a bit better. And I'm actually going to go in and wet my brush a little bit to see if that will help bring the color out a little bit. And now I'm just taking the edge of my brush and kind of blending that highlighted area out a little bit into my lid. So now that I have the darker glitter color on there, I'm going to actually go back into the Beauty Glaze palette and see if I can top that with one of the lighter shimmers that are in there, just so I can test that out as well. So I think I'm going to go on top of that with this really light shimmer up here, Flamingo, and see how that looks. Okay, so now that I got that nice and blended, as good as it's going to get, now I'm going to go ahead and, kind of scared, but I'm going to go ahead and use a little bit of black to deepen the inner and outer corners. And there is a black in this palette, so I'm going to be using this black. I don't want to cover up that highlight or that burgundy, so just very lightly, and I'm going to go over it with the burgundy to blend it. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to eyeliner and highlight. And, you know, I really wish that I could learn how to use the gel eyeliner to make my wings, because I think it would be so much easier if I could learn how to do it, but I cannot do it. Every time I try to do it, it looks crazy. So I just have to stick with my liquid, even though when I use the liquid, it looks crazy too. I'm more comfortable with the liquid. Today I'm going to use my cheap mascara. This is my e.l.f. mascara. Okay, so I have both of my eyes lined. Now I'm going to go back and add some color underneath my eyes before I add my lower lash mascara. So, one of my flat brushes, and I'm going to take that burgundy underneath my eye. And I'm also going to take just a tiny bit of the black, because I don't want to look like a raccoon, but I'm going to take a tiny bit of the black and smoke out this outer portion. I'm going to go into this Flamingo, the color that I used to highlight with. This area here, that's the Flamingo. I'm going to go ahead and use that in the corners and on my brow bone. Okay, so finally now I can move on to my concealer, and I think I'm going to go ahead and use my Fenty concealer, because I don't know how I'm feeling about this foundation. It's not really giving me good coverage, so I want to go ahead and use a decent concealer. So this is the Fenty Beauty Suede Matchstick. Is almost the same color as my foundation. That's how I know this foundation is the wrong color. So I'm going to go in with a damp beauty blender and go ahead and blend in this concealer. So I'm going to have to use some of my Fit Me matte powder from Maybelline over this whole look, just to warm it up, because this foundation, I'm not feeling it with the clear powder. It's too light. Okay, so I'm going to do a little contouring, and I'm also going to use my Fenty contour stick. This is Espresso. Maybe this will help to warm me up a little bit. Alright. We'll go ahead and use my beauty blender. Okay, so let's go ahead and warm this look up with some of my powder, my Maybelline Fit Me powder, and this is the color 360 that I always use. So I'm going to go ahead and warm my face up a little bit with this powder. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and add some blush, and I think since I have a deep burgundy eye look, I'm gonna go in with the Milani baked blush, and this is in the color Red Vino, and so this is what it looks like. Okay, now I'm gonna move on to some highlight, and I think I'm going to go ahead and use my Fenty Beauty highlighter, and this is Ginger Binge and Moscow Mule. So I think I'm going to actually just mix them together, and this is what they look like. You can see that. That's what they look like. Y'all see that highlight? Okay, so now that we have that done, it's time to move on to the lips. And I'm going to go ahead and use my Fenty Beauty Holiday Collection Lip Gloss. And this one is Astro Naughty. So I'm just going to use this on my lips. I love these glosses. They're so pretty. It's like just the right amount of shine and color. And it has that little bling in it, but it's not too much bling to where you look like you're glittered out. So I love these. So anywho, okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and set it with my e.l.f. setting spray to finish this look. I guess this is the end of my makeup look for today. Hopefully it came out okay. Nice little fall burgundy eye look with a little bit of a halo eyelid and some glossy Fenty lips with that Fenty highlight. So this is it, y'all. This is the end of my chit chat put makeup on with me. So that would be, if it's a chit chat put some makeup on with me, it would be a chit chat PSMOWM. So a PSMOWM. A chit chat PSOMWM. Anyway, I got no sense. Yes, a chit chat put some makeup on with me because I didn't get ready for nothing. I'm just putting some makeup on right now. So this is the look, y'all. Hope you like it. And if you do like it, please hit like and subscribe and comment. Let me know, what you think about these palettes I used. I used this Beauty Glaze, which is another Huda Booty knockoff, and the pigment actually is not too bad, and also this City Color. I didn't really do too much out of here. I used these two pinks, and I ended up going back to the Beauty Glaze using that lighter shimmer color. So let's give it up for the $10 palettes today. It's $10 palette day. Let's give it up for the $10 palettes today, all right? Anyway, I will talk to you guys, or I will see you guys in my next video. When I need love, who can I run to? It's not a chit chat get ready with me. It's gonna be a chit chat put some makeup on with me. So that would be a what? A chit chat PSMOWM. Chit chat put some makeup on with me. So